Have you ever spoken, yet felt unheard, as if your words disappeared into the air, leaving no mark on those around you? Many believe that speaking louder or saying more will command respect. But the truth is, respect isn't given to those who demand it. It's given to those who embody it. The Stoics understood this well. They knew that true influence comes not from force, but from wisdom, restraint, and presence. When you speak with clarity, purpose, and confidence, without excess or desperation, people listen. So, why do some individuals captivate a room with just a few words, while others struggle to hold attention? The answer lies not in what they say, but in how they say it. In today's video, we'll explore timeless Stoic principles that will elevate the way you communicate, so that when you speak, people stop and pay attention. If you're ready to sharpen your words and strengthen your presence, stay with me. And if you find value in this, consider supporting the channel with a like, a comment, or a subscription. Now, let's begin. 1. Eliminate the "I'm sorry" habit. Words shape perception. The way you speak influences how others see you and how you see yourself. One of the most subtle yet destructive habits that erode respect is over-apologizing. You may not even realize how often you do it, but every unnecessary "I'm sorry" chips away at your presence, making you seem uncertain, hesitant, and even unworthy of attention. Imagine this. You walk into a meeting 2 minutes late. The first words out of your mouth: "Sorry, I'm late." Instantly, you position yourself as the problem, as if your mere presence requires justification. But does it? Life happens: traffic, back-to-back meetings, unforeseen delays. Instead, try saying, "Thanks for waiting." One signals guilt, the other signals control. Or picture another scenario. You're walking through a crowded hallway and someone accidentally bumps into you. Without thinking, you blurt out, "Oh, sorry." But why? Why are you apologizing for existing in a shared space? Every unnecessary apology sends a subtle message, not just to others, but to yourself, that you are an inconvenience. And the more you reinforce that belief, the more others begin to treat you accordingly. This habit seeps into emails, texts, and daily conversations. "Sorry to bother you, but..." "Sorry, just checking in." "Sorry, can I ask a question?" These phrases may seem polite, but they communicate self-doubt. And when you constantly frame your words as an intrusion, people will subconsciously start treating them that way. I used to be trapped in this cycle myself. I remember sitting in a meeting where someone interrupted me mid-sentence. Without thinking, I stopped and said, "Oh, sorry, go ahead." The moment I heard those words leave my mouth, I realized something. I was apologizing for being interrupted. Why was I making myself smaller? That was the turning point. From that moment on, I made a conscious effort to break the habit. Here's a simple rule. Before you say, "I'm sorry," ask yourself, did I actually do something wrong? If the answer is no, reframe your response. Instead of "sorry for bothering you," say, "Do you have a moment?" Instead of "sorry, can I add something?" say, "I'd like to add something." These small shifts make a big impact. They don't just eliminate unnecessary apologies, they change how people perceive you. There's another hidden danger in apologizing too often. It creates an expectation that you're always at fault. Over time, this conditions others to see you as someone who will take blame, yield space, and accept unfair treatment. Maybe it starts with someone speaking over you. Then, it turns into colleagues assuming you'll handle extra tasks without question. Before long, your time, energy, and boundaries are consistently disregarded. Let's say a coworker hands off a last-minute task, expecting you to take it on. If your default response is, "Oh, sorry, I'll try to fit this in," you've just set a precedent. Your workload is less important than theirs. Instead, try saying, "I won't be able to take this on right now. Let's figure out another solution." No apology, no unnecessary justification, just clarity and confidence. This also applies in social situations. How many times have you agreed to plans you didn't want, simply because you felt bad saying no? A friend invites you to an event you have no interest in, and you respond, "Sorry, I can't make it." But why apologize for prioritizing your time? A stronger response would be, "I won't be able to make it, but I hope you have a great time." No guilt, no excuses, just honesty. Of course, there are moments when an apology is necessary. When you've genuinely hurt someone or made a mistake, taking responsibility is a sign of strength, not weakness. The key is intentionality, apologizing when it's meaningful, not as a default reaction. If you want to break this habit, start by paying attention. Challenge yourself to go a full day without saying, "I'm sorry," unless it's truly warranted. Keep track of the moments when you feel the urge to apologize, and ask yourself if there's a better way to phrase your response. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to speak with confidence. If you want others to respect you, it starts with how you carry yourself. Eliminating unnecessary apologies isn't just about speech, it's about self-perception. The moment you stop apologizing for things that don't require it, you'll notice a shift. People will start listening more, taking your words seriously, treating you with the respect you deserve. Now that we've tackled over-apologizing, let's move on to another crucial principle: setting boundaries and sticking to them. 2. Set boundaries and stick to them. Epictetus once wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself. If you want others to respect you, you must first respect yourself. And one of the most fundamental ways to do that is by setting clear boundaries and enforcing them. People treat you the way you allow them to. If you don't define your limits, others will define them for you. We've all been there. You agree to something you don't want to do just to avoid conflict. You let someone overstep because you don't want to seem rude. You take on extra work because saying no feels uncomfortable. But here's the truth. When you don't set boundaries, you're not being kind. You're being a doormat. Think about the last time you said yes to something you didn't want to do. Maybe it was staying late at work because a coworker didn't finish their task. Maybe it was answering a late-night message when you desperately needed rest. Maybe it was listening to someone vent while ignoring your own exhaustion. In that moment, you weren't prioritizing yourself. You were prioritizing their comfort at your expense. I used to do this constantly. One time, a friend asked me to help them move. My weekend was packed, but I felt obligated to say yes. The moment I agreed, I regretted it. I spent the weekend exhausted, frustrated, not at them, but at myself. Why? Because I had the power to say no, and I didn't use it. That's when something clicked. Every time I said yes to something I didn't want to do, I was saying no to something I actually valued. My time, my energy, my priorities. From that moment, I made a rule. If it's not a true yes, it's a no. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you constantly signal that your needs don't matter, people will believe it. But when you stand firm, people recognize that you operate on a higher level, and they respect that. Start small. If a friend invites you out and you don't want to go, don't say, "I'd love to, but I have so much to do." Just say, I'm staying in tonight. No justification. Boundaries are like a muscle. The more you use them, the stronger they get. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but over time you'll realize people who truly respect you will respect your boundaries. Those who don't, they never truly respected you to begin with. Now that you understand the power of boundaries, let's move on to the next essential skill: mastering the art of pausing. 3. Master the art of pausing. Seneca once wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned through suffering." Most people, however, are terrified of it. The moment there's a gap in conversation, they rush to fill it, rambling, over-explaining, speaking too quickly, all in an attempt to seem confident. But in doing so, they weaken the impact of their words. If you want people to truly listen, to respect what you say, you must learn to pause. In today's world, quick responses are often mistaken for intelligence. Many believe that speaking faster makes them seem smarter, but the truth is, words spoken without pause lose their weight. They blur together, becoming background noise instead of something worth focusing on. The human brain isn't wired to absorb an endless stream of rapid information. It needs space to process, reflect, and react. That's why pausing is so powerful. Imagine you're in a meeting, presenting an idea. You rush through your points, eager to sound competent. But by the time you finish, no one seems truly engaged. Now, imagine a different approach. You speak with measured confidence. You make a key point, then pause. You let it land. Instead of rushing to fill the silence, you allow it to do its work. And suddenly, the room leans in. People absorb your words. They listen. Some of the greatest speakers in history, Winston Churchill, Barack Obama, mastered this technique. They understood that silence isn't empty. It's a tool. It creates emphasis, tension, and most importantly, authority. I learned this lesson the hard way. Early in my career, I believed proving my intelligence meant speaking as much as possible. I answered questions before they were fully asked, over-explained my ideas, and filled every quiet moment with words. After one particularly chaotic presentation, my manager pulled me aside and said, "You have great ideas, but you don't give people time to absorb them." That was my wake-up call. The next time I spoke in a meeting, I slowed down. After each key point, I paused. At first, it felt unnatural, almost like I was forgetting what to say next. But then, something incredible happened. People started paying more attention, not less. They leaned in. They processed my words. Someone even told me afterward, "That was really impactful. Every word felt like it mattered." Marcus Aurelius once said, "Think before you speak, but when the moment comes to act, do not hesitate." Pausing is not hesitation. It is precision. It sends a powerful message. I trust my words to stand on their own. It signals confidence, not insecurity. This doesn't just apply to public speaking. Think about arguments. When someone raises their voice, the instinct is to react immediately. But what happens when you don't, when you pause instead? That silence forces the other person to think. It shifts the power dynamic. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond deliberately, instantly becoming the more composed, respected individual in the conversation. Pausing also transforms everyday conversations. The next time someone asks you a question, resist the urge to answer immediately. Take a second, think, then speak. This subtle shift makes you seem more thoughtful, more deliberate, the kind of person others naturally respect. Here's a simple exercise. The next time you speak, whether in a casual conversation or a formal discussion, pause after your key points. Let the silence do the work for you. At first, It may feel strange, but over time you'll notice the effect. People will start listening more intently. Mastering the art of pausing isn't just about speech. It's about control. It's about knowing that your words have value and that silence isn't something to fear. It's something to own. Now that you understand the power of the pause, let's move on to the next skill: using humor wisely, without diminishing your credibility. 4. Use humor without becoming a clown. Seneca once wrote, "Laughter should not be abundant, nor should it be absent. There is a time for everything." Humor is a powerful tool. It can break tension, build connections, and even make you seem more intelligent. Studies show that people who use humor effectively are perceived as more competent and likable. But here's the catch. If misused, humor can undermine your credibility faster than anything else. There's a fine line between being witty and being the person no one takes seriously. If every time you speak, you turn everything into a joke, people will start seeing you as just that, a joke. Respect isn't given to the person who is always entertaining, but to the one who knows when to be serious and when to lighten the mood. Have you ever been in a meeting where someone kept cracking jokes? At first, people laughed, but over time, their words lost impact. No one saw them as a leader, just comic relief. Early in my career, I made this mistake. I used humor to hide my nerves. I'd crack a joke whenever I felt uncertain, thinking it made me more likable. And while people laughed, they didn't take me seriously. One day, in a team meeting, I joked about being there just to make spreadsheets look pretty. My manager pulled me aside afterward and said, "You're better than that. Don't make yourself the punchline." That was my wake-up call. So, how do you use humor in a way that builds respect? First, understand the purpose of your humor. Is it to diffuse tension, make a point memorable, or build camaraderie? If it serves no purpose beyond getting a laugh, it's probably not worth saying. Second, avoid excessive self-deprecating humor. A little humility makes you relatable, but constant self-mockery erodes your credibility. Instead of saying, "I have no idea what I'm doing," try, "This is a learning experience, and I'm figuring it out." The first makes you look incompetent. The second shows confidence and adaptability. Third, read the room. Not every joke works in every situation. Sarcasm can come across as arrogant. Dark humor can be inappropriate in a professional setting. Before making a joke, ask yourself, will this add to the conversation, or will it distract from it? Marcus Aurelius once advised, "Let your words be few and well considered." Humor should serve a purpose, not dominate your message. Timing is also crucial. The best humor is spontaneous but controlled. Drop it strategically when it can shift the energy or reinforce a point. A well-timed joke from a leader can diffuse tension and show confidence, not desperation for attention. Finally, avoid using humor as a shield to deflect discomfort. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is be direct. If you're uncomfortable, pause, collect your thoughts, and speak with intention. The bottom line, humor is a tool, not a crutch. Use it to elevate your message, not replace it. Master this balance, and you'll not only be respected, you'll be unforgettable. Now that you understand the power of humor, let's move on to something even more crucial: eliminating gossip from your speech. 5. Drop the gossip. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, if maintaining integrity means stepping away from gossip, so be it. Nothing destroys respect faster than gossip. The moment people realize you talk about others behind their backs, they stop trusting you. Because if you'll gossip about one person, what's stopping you from doing the same to them? Gossip is tempting. It feels like a shortcut to bonding, a way to feel important by sharing inside knowledge. But in reality, it makes you look untrustworthy, insecure, and weak. Think about the people who command the most respect. They're not the ones whispering in the break room. They're the ones who speak with integrity, who don't waste time tearing others down. I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I got caught up in office gossip. It wasn't malicious, just small comments about co-workers, habits, or personal lives. I thought it was harmless, but one day I overheard my own name in a whispered conversation. It hit me. If they were talking about me, that meant I was no different from them. From that moment on, I made a decision. I wouldn't engage in gossip. Period. When you refuse to participate in gossip, people notice. They see you as someone who can be trusted, someone who doesn't need to put others down to feel important. And that earns far more respect than any fleeting sense of belonging gossip provides. So how do you stop? First, recognize when it's happening. Gossip isn't always obvious. It can be disguised as concern, curiosity, or venting. The key difference? Gossip is talking about someone who isn't there, in a way that serves no real purpose. If it doesn't help resolve an issue, it's gossip. Second, redirect the conversation. If someone starts gossiping, you don't have to call them out aggressively. Just shift the topic. I'd rather not talk about that. What else is going on? Or, that's their business. I hope they're doing okay. These responses make it clear that you won't engage. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Instead of indulging in gossip, focus on things that matter, your growth, your goals, your character." At the end of the day, gossiping might make you feel important in the moment, but it destroys trust in the long run. If you want to be respected, speak with integrity. Refuse to engage in pointless drama. Keep your words focused on what truly matters. Now that we've covered why gossip is a respect killer, let's move on to our final step, knowing when to stop talking. 6. Know when to stop talking. Epictetus once wrote, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in unimportant matters." In other words, wisdom isn't about saying more. It's about knowing when to say less. Many people aren't taken seriously because they talk too much. It's an uncomfortable truth, but sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. We've all seen it. The person who keeps explaining long after they've made their point. The one who dominates conversations without realizing they're losing their audience. The one who fills every silence as if quiet moments are dangerous. But here's the thing. The more you talk, the less impact your words have. I used to struggle with this myself. I thought being persuasive meant providing as much detail as possible. I would over-explain, repeat myself, and rush to fill any pause. Then, one day, after a long-winded explanation in a meeting, my boss pulled me aside and said, "You had them in the first 30 seconds, but then you lost them." That moment changed everything for me. Talking too much often comes from insecurity, the fear that if we don't keep speaking, we'll be ignored or misunderstood. But true confidence isn't in endless words, it's in precision. The most respected people don't ramble. They speak with clarity, trust their words, and know that silence isn't their enemy, it's their ally. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others, unless it brings some benefit." The same applies to speech. Don't waste words that don't serve a purpose. Here's how to fix this. First, be aware of your tendencies. Do you repeat yourself? Over-explain? Feel uncomfortable with silence? Awareness is the first step to change. Second, practice the pause. Make your point, then stop. Let it sit. Let people process what you've said. It may feel awkward at first, but over time you'll see that silence makes your words more powerful, not less. Third, trim the excess. Before speaking, ask yourself, what's the shortest, clearest way to say this? The best communicators say just enough, no more, no less. This is especially crucial in high-stakes situations. Imagine negotiating a salary. You state your number, then silence. The instinct is to justify it, to keep talking, but the smartest thing you can do? Say it, then stop. Let the other person process it. The same applies to arguments, interviews, and even everyday conversations. When you stop talking at the right moment, people listen more, take you more seriously, and ultimately respect you more. Now that we've covered all 6 principles, let's wrap this up with a final thought on what it truly means to command respect in every conversation. Respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you earn through the way you carry yourself, speak, and engage with others. It's not about being the loudest or the smartest in the room. It's about presence, self-respect, and communicating with intention. By eliminating unnecessary apologies, you project confidence. By setting boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. By mastering the pause, your words gain impact. By using humor wisely, you maintain credibility. By refusing to gossip, you build trust. And by knowing when to stop talking, you ensure your words carry real weight. Apply these principles, and you'll notice a shift. People will listen more, take you seriously, and most importantly, you'll see yourself differently. Now tell me, which principle do you need most? Comment below. Speak with confidence. If this video helped you, like it, subscribe for more insights, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Speak with confidence, own your space, and never shrink yourself for anyone. More powerful lessons coming soon. Stay tuned.